James' story, injury there. Like, is he touch and go for Georgia? Where's he at?
Yeah, at this stage, definitely touch and go for Georgia. He's got a tendon problem in his foot. We believe we've got that under control and he'll be back on the paddock after Georgia.
We're kind of finally here at the start of this World Cup runway, but there's been a heck of a lot that's unfolded in a short period. How do you feel at this point in time? As I say, short but also a long kind of build-up in many respects?
Look, as I was telling the players this morning, I reckon it's been a really, for me, a fascinating experiment almost. You go in with a perception of how you think the team may be. And then the players' talents have really shone through, and we're just discovering now how we need to operate as a team, how we want to play, how we can play to our strengths. So, yeah, it's all just really for us now, starting now.
And has that plan kind of changed? You seeing the players, you having them for the last 2 months, has that kind of changed much since you got them first before Pretoria to now?
Yeah, no, 100%. In terms of the emphasis of how we want to play. And a team's always defined by how you play. Your playing style or your playing identity dictates how the team is. And we're just finding that now. We've got a new leadership group in, led by Will, and that's changing the team as well. So, for us, the big thing is finding the right way to play to our players' strengths, and then the leadership group being able to adapt on the field. We've seen most games now the captain doesn't finish the game. You look at the weekend, most of the captains didn't finish the game. So the ability to adapt on the field, adapt to sin bin, adapt to HIA is going to be a significant part of this World Cup.
It seems like you've liberated the players, like Shaq are off, and is that because of the players' strengths?
Well, the plan was always to free us up from structure. I don't believe you can copy other teams' structure. You've got to come up with your own way of playing, and so that's always been the goal. But initially we probably didn't get it right in how we wanted to play. Well, we didn't get it right, and now we're finding the way that we should play.
And are you confident heading into this World Cup that everything's on track and that this side can reach the final and potentially work for that third?
Well, the only thing we have to worry about is Georgia in 10 days' time. Are we on track for Georgia? Yes, we are on track for Georgia. Then after we deal with Georgia, we get on track for the next game. That's all we have to worry about. Those things are for you guys to worry about, not for us.
What's your homework you've done with Georgia? You had a lot to do with them over the years. Obviously, there was that time in England you had with them as well. What's your analysis of how they're faring?
Yeah, they changed their game a little bit. They play very much like France, very high kicking team. I had a wonderful dinner in Paris on Wednesday night. This French guy came up to me and he said, I love how France play now. I love how they play because they don't kick the ball anymore. And they're the highest kicking side in the world, France. So people have perceptions of how teams play, and when you're winning, the perception is a positive perception. Now, Georgia play a very similar game to France. 10 of their players play in the leagues in France, mostly in top 14, some in Pro D2. Is that how you say that, mate? That'll do. And they have a very significant French influence, so they kick a lot, they contest hard at the breakdown, and then they develop some fantastic counter-attacking skills. I won't try to pronounce the name of the 15 or the 9, but they're very good attacking players, which has changed a lot. The perception of Georgia was that they're a hard scrummaging, hard mauling, gritty team. And there's still elements of that, but they've changed their game considerably. Yeah, well, they haven't changed their game. They kick a lot. They play off counter-attack and they're good around the set piece. And they're a heavy team. And Stade de France pitch is reasonably heavy. It's got a wealthy cover of grass. So it's going to be a tough old physical game. I don't know, who's the referee?
Yako.
Right, okay. Well, he tends to favour defensive teams. So that's going to put a lot more pressure on New Zealand at the breakdown particularly.
And can we expect to see any more former All Blacks coaches or players popping into Wallabies camps during this World Cup?
We wanted to give Steve a Wallaby T-shirt, but he didn't take it. But he's left us with a lot of affection. He was fantastic for the week. Just a good rugby man. The players enjoyed him around, just chatting to him. Coaches enjoyed having him in, and I think he enjoyed the experience as much as he is a out-and-out Kiwi.
Can you ease any New Zealanders' fears that he's been spilling all the All Blacks' secrets?
I don't think there was once we spoke about the All Blacks. It was just about rugby and about coaching philosophy and talking to the players about his experiences.
Will, one of the reasons I think Steve was brought in was around leadership and that kind of thing. Can you tell us how beneficial, what did you learn from him?
Yeah, it was awesome. I think, as Eddie touched on, a good rugby man. And sometimes hearing the same stuff that Eddie's saying, but from a different voice, different accent, it's different, and you take it with a bit more, well, not affection, but it sits a little bit more well. Like you understand it better. I think for a lot of the players, having those we had a few one-on-ones, and a lot of it was just about the rugby. For me, leadership-wise, I asked him about if there was leaders that he'd coached who were similar to myself, and he just instilled exactly what Eddie said, just to be myself.
How do you feel? Does it feel like you're back home in France?
Back in France, yeah, a little bit like that, yeah. My wife and son are back in La Rochelle now, so they'll come over for the games. But yeah, no, it's pretty nice here. Weather's good. It's like Sydney back home.
What about the last couple of months? Has it been coming back off a long season for you? But everything's geared towards the World Cup and a World Cup year. Does it feel like it's been a long pre-season getting to this point to get everywhere? And have you experienced a training camp, an environment, a runway like this before?
No, never. Similar in 2015, that was the only World Cup experience I had. But being under new coaches, a new style of play, a young team, we've been training really hard. We haven't got the results, but we're definitely building in the direction we want to go, and George is that first step.
Eddie, sorry for my English. You've seen the Springboks beating the All Blacks with a 7-forward bench and the polemics around. What's your opinion?
Well, next step's 8-0, mate. Again, tradition says 5-3. That doesn't mean it's right. Is 7-1 right or is 8-0 right? If you're going to play a heavily dominant forward game, why wouldn't you have more forward players on your bench? So, the world's changing, the game of rugby's changing, the way it's refereed's changing, the way it's officiated off the field's changing. It's just a sign of the times, mate.
Does it need, like it was brought in to have as injury replacements, does that need to be looked at though, a bit of a tweak around that? Like the less, I know you've said in the time, take it back so there's more fatigue.
Well, it doesn't really interest me, mate, because we're playing a World Cup and I'm not going to change the replacement rules before the World Cup, so it doesn't. We just got to try to maximise it. And I've told the story before, but we played with Japan against Georgia in the last warm-up game with 9 forwards. 9 forwards, 6 backs. So who says you've got to have 8 forwards and 7 backs? You don't have to. That's what tradition tells us. There's different ways to play the game, and I applaud South Africa for being so bold and courageous in the way they want to play the game. That's great innovation.
Does it inspire you?
Well, it doesn't inspire me. South Africans don't inspire me as much as I admire them.
Hannah, how are you going? How was it playing at the Stade de France? Do you feel like it was prepared you really nicely for that first game against Georgia?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's been a good week in France. Playing at the Stade de France was an awesome experience. It was an unreal stadium, like Eddie was saying before. And yeah, I think it's put myself and the team in good stead for the first game of the World Cup.
From a goal kicking perspective, that's obviously been something spoken about today. I'm sure you're working very hard at it. How are you feeling? Is it something that you're still looking forward to doing?
Oh yeah, definitely. Obviously, on the weekend didn't have the goal kicking performance I was after, and I'm working hard at it at the moment. I'm just working hard at it at the moment. It's going to be better.
Had you been practicing that all throughout the year? I know you're obviously not kicking a lot in Super Rugby, but were you injured throughout the year, which had sort of stopped you practicing massively?
Yeah, a little bit, but that's no excuse now. So I'm injury free now, so I can do as much goal kicking as I need to.
Eddie's shown a lot of confidence in you now. You've basically been given the keys at 10. Is that a confidence booster, and you must look upon this World Cup with a lot of excitement?
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait for the World Cup, and yeah, it's the confidence Eddie has in myself and the team is huge, and that really drives me. It drives the team, and yeah, look, just can't wait to get out there and play again.
Do you think it helps being like I know Eddie Johnson's here as well, but do you feel it helps being the main 10 in the squad?
Yeah, I've had this question a fair bit, but yeah, there's always competition for the jersey, no matter who's in the squad. So I've got to make sure I'm putting my best foot forward every training session, every game to retain that.